Welcome to the third video in the IMC Approach tutorial series. We're using X-Plane 11 and a Free Piper Cherokee 180 model, which is a fairly primitive model, but it's free and it's got the required systems on board. In this video we'll be doing the ILS DME approach on runway 28 at Blackpool EGNH ICAO code, and we'll be using the third type of entry, which is the teardrop or offset type of entry. The ILS system consists of two parts. Firstly, the localizer, which we've already used, plus the glide slope indicator. These are in the VHF range and they're at 108.15 at this airport. The DME is twinned to the same frequency. We will also use the ADF and NDB on the low frequency range to come in at the correct bearing. In this case, we'll be coming in at 225 degrees. Now, whilst we're flying in on VMC conditions, often called Victor Mike above cloud, we can visualize the approach firstly by using the diagram top right, and then we can see the actual path onto the hold in the diagram top left. Since we can't see where we're going on this video, unlike the first video, we'll keep X-Plane's continual map up and running so you can keep the instruments in view and visualize where you are on the ground easier. Unless you've got a moving map in the cockpit, you won't have this luxury in real life, so it's better to practice yourself without one. The RT calls are basically the same in this video, so we won't be using them, except to say that the turn at the right base is a procedural turn and not a base turn, so you'll call in procedure turn complete. You still call in localizer established when you've got a half-scale deflection. So here we are approaching the beacon as I've speeded up the video to where the action starts. As you see, we fly for 1 minute on the 30-degree offset, then we begin a turn until we head back to the beacon on 093 degrees. We can adjust it slightly for wind drift by using the ADF needle to get back exactly over the beacon before calling beacon outbound. Now this stage of the outbound is exactly the same as the other videos in that we go off to the left for 1 minute at 053 degrees and then do a rate 1 turn until we reciprocate the outbound and then intercept the localizer. However, as an extra assistance after the procedural turn is complete, we'll intercept the horizontal needle on the ILS system, which will be the 4th round dial from the left clock, and the horizontal needle should be fairly obvious. It's actually the glide slope. Now in this system you'll note that as we come onto the runway, if we keep the needle exactly in place, the altitude reading and DME reading don't coincide with the recommended approach profile on the chart. They should do, but the glide slope indicator is taking us about 140 feet lower than it should. I'm following the glide slope in this video to show the system, but in real life in this situation I would regard the DME as more accurate, and the altitude should also be trusted because we only just calibrated it on the ground. This is probably a calibration error in the plane model or possibly an X-plane bug. Furthermore, it's always better to play safe and go with the higher altitude option. As you see, it's come out about the right height anyway, so all's well that ends well, and we can now land safely. The next video will be an ADF DME approach on runway 10, and as always, any feedback on the comments section is welcomed, as I'm not an instructor and this video is not to be taken for anything but a revision aid.